Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Authentic Info Podcast. I'm your host, Admas Andrechau. The EFF Student Command is winning in all these universities in South Africa. And the question is this a reflection of the outcome of the 2024 elections? Is the EFF going to be government in 2024? What are the students in institutions of higher education saying when it comes to the results, of elections in universities or institutions of higher education? Because the EFF Student Command is emerging victorious in many universities, especially in these, major ones like the UCT, UP, VETS, University of Limpopo, the bigger ones. They are emerging victorious, and we know that these are the universities that produce future leaders. These are the universities that have produced great lawyers, great engineers, and great leaders of South Africa. And these are the people who are influential in making sure that they drive the nation forward. So most of great leaders comes from VETS, comes from UCT, they come from University of Limpopo. We've seen the best lawyers coming from these institutions, UP, things like that. But what does this reflect? Is it a reflection of the 2024 elections? Are we going to see the EFF emerging victorious for the first time in 30 years, the ANC losing power? What does it mean when we look at the upcoming general elections? Because if the youth do not agree with SASCO, it means the youth do not agree with the ANC, and that's a fact. If the youth do not agree with DASO, it means the youth do not agree in their majority with the DA. And then we'll ask ourselves a question. Why is the ANC number one? Why is the DA number two and the EFF number three? Meanwhile, majority of the people who are in these institutions of higher education are not voting for DASO, are not voting for SASCO in all these universities and colleges. What does it mean? Does it mean that come 2024, the youth will go in numbers and this the outcome of the 2023 elections in universities are going to influence the choice of political organizations that the youth are going to vote for in their majority? Are the youth ready to put the EFF to power come 2024, or the youth will not go in their numbers and vote for their mother body? What does this mean? Another thing, what does this mean, to a political party like the ANC? We know the ANC has been proud of governing in South Africa and proud of leading institutions of higher education through SASCO, through ANC Youth League, through its alliances like the Young Communist League and things like that. So the ANC has been in power for far too long, and it seems like the young people are no longer agreeing with the ANC, especially in universities, because we cannot say that the outcomes or the outcome of elections in universities does not affect the outcome of general elections. Like they don't have an impact. They do have an impact because we can see and we know that, for example, in 2015, for example, the youth in universities took it upon themselves, to go into a struggle and try to hold the Department of Higher Education to account and make sure that they get rid of fees. The fees must fall movement, the fees must fall struggle was very influential in South Africa, and the president, the then president, President Jacob Zuma, he had to come down and address the issues of free education in South Africa, and to try to speak about the problems of, for example, historic debts and things like that. These are the youth which were very active, and then they took it amongst themselves, and political differences aside, these are the guys who were coming from the ANC Youth League in university or in VETS, and we've seen Sinawo Tambo, Vuyani Pambo. These were coming from the EFF Student Command, and they put political differences aside, and then they entered into a struggle to call on national government to intervene. And we saw government coming down to the student to intervene, and we saw President Zuma pronouncing the free education. Although it is something that is yet to be achieved. We have not seen that being implemented. We know that there are people whose degrees, qualifications are being withheld till today because they owe institutions of higher education. They owe these colleges and universities money. They have outstanding balances, and then the universities decide to withhold their qualifications until they pay for their fees. Imagine, where will the young people get money to pay fees? Meanwhile, the universities have withheld documents which the young people must use to go and apply for jobs, to go and seek opportunities so that they can come back to pay the very same institution. So in South Africa, free education is something which has not yet been achieved. It's a struggle which did not materialize. But other than that, our focus today is on the results and the performance of the EFF Student Command and what it means to the youth. What influence does it have? And we know that a lot of young people emerge from youth structures. We have seen a lot of leaders, Wombalula, Gigaba, Omalema, coming from the ANC Youth League. But if the youth are not agreeing with the ANC and the DA and other major political parties in their universities, it means that we are going to see only the student command producing future leaders for South Africa. And I think it's something which is very positive when it comes to a political party like the EFF. They know that they are grooming young people from the structure of the student command who come from student politics and absorbed directly to national level, because we know that in the EFF, there is no youth league, there's no women's league. It's just the student command and the EFF, and that's it, which means from the branches, you grow through the ranks. From student command, you grow through the ranks, and then the mother body is the last line. So I think the way the EFF has structured these things, it makes sure that it encourages young people to go to universities, to go and study and grow through the ranks of the student command. And it is very fair because we've seen a lot of young politicians who come from the student command going straight to parliament to serve in the national level of leadership of the EFF, which is very good. I mean, from when you look at the way the ANC used to do things, we know that the ranks of the ANC needed someone with patience, and for someone to see themselves serving in parliament, it was some sort of a journey. They had to be there, they had to grow within the ranks, be matured, and then they would later become member of parliament or even be considered for positions like minister, deputy minister, and to serve in other political structures. But other than that, the way the EFF Student Command is attracting young people in universities and exposing them to politics, it's quite strategic for the EFF, because we know the EFF that it advocates for young people to be educated, to be afforded opportunities at an early age, to be groomed in political positions, in strategic positions as young as they come from university, so that those who have long been there serve the purpose of educating them, transferring skills to them, so that they can later be matured and be great leaders. So they are afforded an opportunity to lead at an early age, fresh from university, and occupy strategic positions, something which the ANC till today it doesn't do. The ANC will point at few, 3 or 2 people who are young, who are in senior positions. Other than that, the rest are elders above 70, approaching 80, who are not transferring any skills, who are not working with young people. And it is demoralizing for young people in universities to try to be convinced to join the ANC Youth League or SASCO in university, because they can see that it will be a journey to be part of the ANC leadership. It will take time if they are somewhat ambitious. So they find a political home in the EFF Student Command because it speaks to their needs and it somehow delivers, because they were not going to vote for the Student Command in numbers and give it 10 seats out of 15, 12 seats out of 16, and somewhere they just clean everything. So the students were talking about people who are academics, people who analyze things, people who are not only driven by profit or material gains, because there's none in university. So they are driven by policy positions. They are driven by actions of their leaders, their student leaders, and they analyze and understand them. They think carefully before they cast votes. Unlike in general elections where we know that votes are for sale, we know that political parties mobilize with T-shirts, food parcels, and things like that. So in universities, young people, academics must listen to you, because there are those who are doing their PhDs, master's degrees, and honors degrees. They must listen to a student leader deliver a statement or an address that makes sense, that will convince them, because they don't have to be part of any political formation for them to cast a vote for that particular political formation or organization. They have their vote in hand and they must listen to a student who speaks sense, representing their own political party or political organization within that school representative council or that university, so that they can be convinced to cast that particular vote. So it is not easy for political organization to make it in university if it doesn't have a good political representative, if it doesn't have a good candidate who understands the needs of the students, because the needs of the students differs as per the university or institution of higher education. The needs are different and the priorities are different. So it needs someone with an understanding, someone whose even political party position represents something that relates to the students. So it seems like the students in South Africa are agreeing with the student command and so as the EFF. I'm not quite sure about the numbers of the current registered students in South Africa in all institutions of higher education, so that we can check the number of voters and check how many possibly can the EFF get get in 2024 from institutions of higher education only, so that we can see growth and things like that. But I think it's possible because statistics are there. Those who are capable can give us the numbers on the comment section, then we engage on that. But other than that, the Student Command has been doing well. It is an organization that is fairly young, but it has proven rapid growth. It has proven to be more relevant, and it is destroying the ANC because it is killing SASCO. It is killing the momentum and weight that SASCO had back in the days, 2012, 2011, 2007, back then, when SASCO was the thing, when the Youth League was the thing. But today we know that it is the EFF Student Command that students engage about. It is the Student Command and the EFF itself that the students talks about, that the young people talks about. So I think the EFF must be strategic in trying to convince these young students in institutions of higher education to make sure that they go and win votes, to make sure that they go and convince more people where they come from and speak their language, so that the numbers can materialize even in 2024 general elections. I think maybe the EFF stands a chance to make a difference in parliament and in South Africa, and maybe at least win one or two provinces. We never know. But it seems like consciously people are ready for an alternative. They are ready for an alternative. We see political parties like the DA looking very confused because they now want to prepare to co-govern. But we know that no one wants to co-govern with the DA, knowing the way they treat other political parties, for example, in metros like in Joburg, because the likes of Patriotic Alliance are complaining about the DA, the way the DA wants everything for themselves, and things like that. But for this segment, we talk about the influence that the results of the student command might have when it comes to 2024 general elections. Because these young people are the ones who are going to vote, are the ones who will be on the ground mobilizing for the EFF in 2024. And it is a challenge that the EFF leader, CIC Julius Malema, gave to them after thanking them in FNB Stadium on the 29th of July, where he said they must prepare for victory. And he also said this on one of his media briefing, where he said that they have everything ready, and what he is preparing for is the day after elections. It's the day after the elections where they will have to take government, where you will have to occupy the office of the president. It is what he is preparing for, and he leaves the rest to the EFF members. This includes the student command leaders and the student command supporters in universities to go in their numbers and vote for the EFF, because it will be embarrassing if the EFF student command is leading in many or majority of the universities and colleges in South Africa, and the EFF is underperforming. It means the students will not have worked hard to ensure that the results of institutions of higher education in South Africa reflects those of the general elections come 2024. So it's a challenge to opposition parties that young people are no longer agreeing with them, because those numbers don't lie. The IEC is not that corrupt. They are very careful because they know that young people are radical, young people are very active, and they can hold them to account and expose their shenanigans. So they are no longer accused of rigging and things like that. The results comes the way they are supposed to. Everything is dealt with transparently. And when they release the results, there is fairness. We have not yet had any organization in institutions of higher education complaining about the results being rigged and things like that. So we are entering a South Africa where senior political analysts will tell you that we must prepare for a coalition government in national level. We must prepare for co-governance, things like that. But there are political parties like the EFF who say that they want to clean everything. They want to take power in 2024. They want to lead South Africa in 2024. And for this to be, or for this to come to reality, it means that the young people will see representation from the EFF, who agrees with the EFF policy position, must make sure that they are convinced their parents, they convince their siblings, they convince their relatives that come 2024, they go all out and vote. Because in South Africa, we have a problem. I think the stats are 16 million people who are eligible to vote who did not participate in the previous elections. So if 16 million people don't go out there to vote, the rest of the minority, or the rest of those who go there to vote, they go there to make decisions that will affect the rest of the 16 million people. So my question remains, is the results that we see, are the results that we see in institutions of higher learning where the EFF Student Command is cleaning universities, is winning these universities with outright majority, are these the reflections of 2024 elections? Is this what we're going to see in 2024, where the EFF clean provinces and national level? This is Authentic Info Podcast. Put your views on the comment. Let's engage. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's grow together. Thank you.